I followed the main narrative conventions for my poster. Used in Possession is a typical narrative for a supernatural horror film poster. This was shown clearly by editing the main character's eyes to black, adding a clear sense of narrative to my poster. This was similar to the Insidious poster because they edited the main character's eyes, like mine, to make the narrative clear to the target audience. It suggests to the audience there's something wrong with the character, and it also shows the main narrative is possession. By following these conventions, my poster looks conventional and makes it clear to the audience what the main storyline is likely to be. Following the conventional colours on my poster of black, red and white means that the audience can clearly look at the poster and tell exactly which genre it is. Another poster that also follows these conventions is The Last House on the left. Furthermore, a young person as the main character and main image on my poster also follows genre conventions. Insidious follows this convention by using a young boy as the main character on the poster. I decided to use this because it shows the vulnerability of the main character because she's so young. Also, the fact that she's female means that she's viewed as being more vulnerable than if I was to use a male. The use of a vulnerable main character means that the threat in the film is highlighted. The institutional conventions were followed on my poster because they were put at the bottom of the page alongside the website and social networking. Other posters that you followed these conventions are Insidious and Carrie. The main reason that I follow this convention is because the audience expect this to be displayed at the bottom of the page, and so they know exactly where to find the extra information, meaning that they are able to find exactly what they are looking for. Using Lionsgate as a distributor for my film, this follows the typical conventions of a horror film. Lionsgate are well known for releasing horror films such as Texas Chainsaw. Therefore, this fits in with the audience's expectations of the distributor. By following the cinematography conventions of a mid-shot, I was able to capture the emotion of the female character in my main image, and it also shows the young age of the character. The Insidious poster uses this convention to show the genre clearly by editing the eyes of the main character. Paranormal Activity 3's poster also shows this convention by using a mid-shot of children to portray their innocence. My typography follows the typography conventions by using serif font. The Conjuring poster also follows this convention because it means it's clear to read but also tends to be more dramatic than the modern sans serif font. Moreover, the use of the colour is conventional for a horror poster, and the audience are able to clearly identify that my poster as being of the horror genre. Carrie follows the conventional colours of black, red and white too. I also used similar font to the house on the left, because the use of the splats in their writing clearly follows the conventions and means that my writing doesn't look too clean and tidy. This is the same reason why I rubbed out parts of the text so that it looks more conventionally degraded. The main unique poster convention on my poster is that I decided to add cracks onto the main character's face on my poster, meaning that the female character's face looks as though it has cracks running down it. I developed this convention because when I looked at A Nightmare on Elm Street's main image, I thought it made the main character look more sinister, and so I developed this for my own poster. The use of the cracks is similar to that of a mask. It intensifies the fear of the unknown within the audience because they don't get to see how the main character looked before, and this makes my poster more conventional of the genre. My website follows most of the narrative conventions of a supernatural horror by using Possession, which is a typical narrative for a horror film. Insidious and The Exorcist also follow this narrative convention because it is popular choice amongst horror films and becomes more realistic for the audience as it is set within a house. The house represents middle-class comfort, and this means that the disruption and tension is highlighted within the narrative. I followed the genre conventions on my website by using conventional colours of black, white and red. The website for Carrie also follows these conventions to make it clear to the audience that it is a horror film. Moreover, the use of a young main character on my website and as a main image both follow and develop the conventions. Most websites do not have the main image on the homepage of the main character. Therefore, I developed this convention by using my main character as the main image on the homepage. This is because I want the audience to focus on the main character of the film rather than anyone else. I followed the institutional conventions of a horror film website by putting the institutions at the bottom of the page. This means that they are easily accessible for the audience, and they know exactly where to find this information because they expect it to be found at the bottom of the page. This convention was also followed by Insidious Chapter 2's website and The Conjuring's website. Furthermore, I added a pull quote at the bottom of the page above the institutional information, and this also follows the conventions. This is so that the audience can see that the film has a positive reviews, and so that they are more likely to go and see it. Other websites such as The Conjuring also follow this convention. My website follows the representative conventions of using a main character which is young in order to highlight their vulnerability. However, it slightly challenges them by using the main character's image on the homepage of the website. Most supernatural horror films don't have the main character on the homepage. I use the cinematography conventions of a supernatural film website by using a mid-shot of the main character. This is typically used to show the emotion on the character's face and so that the audience can clearly see who it is. Insidious Chapter 2's website has mid-shots used for images of the character, and the Carrie website also follows this convention. The main reason that I used this convention was so that the audience could clearly see that it was a supernatural horror film by the fact that her eyes are black and she has cracks on her face, making the website more dramatic and appealing to the target audience. My typography mainly follows the typography conventions of a horror film website by using the conventional colours of black, white and red, and by using splats and removing parts of the letters. This means that the writing looks more dramatic and conventional of the genre. The font that I chose, Sell Your Soul, was similar to that used in the Conjuring website because it uses serif font, which is clear and easy to read. By removing parts of the letters, the writing looks more rugged and less clean and tidy, which is expected of the genre. The unique website conventions that I used were having the trailer displayed on the homepage, which plays automatically when the user enters the homepage. This isn't used on most horror websites because the trailers tend to be on another page. I wanted it on the homepage to entice the audience into going and watching my film. Furthermore, the use of the main character on the website and having the eyes clearly edited to show the film is about possession, as well as having the cracks on the face, was something that I developed because I wanted the audience to engage with the main character and to be able to instantly know what the film is going to be about. Most other horror websites use other characters on the homepage and not the main character. My trailer follows the narrative conventions of a supernatural horror film by using the storyline of possession. This is typical of a horror film, and this convention was followed by Insidious and The Exorcist. Moreover, the use of a setting such as a house and a garage follow more conventions, because home invasion is a popular choice for films of the horror genre. This is because it heightens the fear within the audience, because it is something that could happen to them, and the home is supposed to be a place of safety, and it emphasises the threat. This is also why young children are often used in supernatural horror films, and the reason why I followed this narrative convention, the same as Insidious and Carrie did. The trailer follows generic conventions by using a young female character as the protagonist. This convention is often used to emphasise the threat within the film. Females are seen as being vulnerable and weak within horror films, and children are seen as being innocent. This means that during the film, the audience see a clear change within the protagonist, meaning that they know that she has been possessed because she becomes more masculine. By using shots such as the one with the female character with a knife in her hand, this makes her appear more masculine and dangerous to the audience. The Exorcist uses the same conventions and makes the female character change throughout the film, meaning that the audience witness the change and the character becomes more dramatic for them. I followed the institutional conventions and put the film distributors at the beginning of the trailer, and then put the other information, including the director and the main characters' names, at the end of the trailer. I decided to follow these conventions because I wanted the audience to know exactly where to find the information. This is where they would expect the institutional information to be, and so I followed this convention. The Carrie and Insidious trailers also follow these conventions so that the audience aren't confused about where to find it. My trailer follows the representation conventions of a horror trailer by using a young female as the main character, highlighting her vulnerability to the audience. Furthermore, by using an authority figure, this was enabled to provide help and the situation and loses control, and this follows the representation conventions of a horror trailer. The Carrie trailer also follows this convention by using a mother figure of authority who is unable to stop her daughter. Moreover, by using the setting of a home, it follows these conventions and highlights the threat to the audience because it's supposed to be a place of safety and portrays the idea that nowhere is safe. Carrie uses this convention, and so does Insidious, to make it more terrifying for the audience. In my trailer, the mother tries to help her daughter by purifying her blood, but is unsuccessful and has to phone another figure of authority to beg them to help her with her daughter's possession. This also follows the representation conventions because it shows that someone who is experienced at dealing with this is required. Insidious follows the same representational conventions. Moreover, by using the bathroom as one of the settings of my trailer, this also follows representation conventions of horror trailers. I had a few shots of the female protagonist in the bath with blood all over her, and this further highlights her vulnerability and the extremely conventional of a horror trailer. Lots of other trailers and films have followed this convention to emphasise the threat, such as The Last House on the Left and Nightmare on Elm Street. The darkly lit room, lit mainly by candlelight, adds a dark element to the trailer. I use this because it makes the shot more eerie and dramatic. The lighting in the shot means that the trailer scene takes a sinister turn at this point. This shot was part of a montage, and this point the music started to building more tension and meaning that the scene is more dramatic. Furthermore, the mise-en-scène in my trailer means that it looks more realistic. I use blood and a knife, which are both conventional props found in horror films. This highlights to the audience that it's a horror trailer. I mostly followed the cinematography conventions in my trailer by using lots of short shots, meaning the suspense was built in my trailer by using a montage, especially towards the end. Using mainly close-ups and mid-shots meant that the trailer follows the cinematography conventions. Carrie trailer and the Insidious trailer also follow these conventions to build suspense during their trailer in order to engage the audience and build excitement. Moreover, after the title appears, I decided to follow the convention that is sometimes used to add another shot to scare the audience after they think the trailer has ended. This is because I wanted to lure them into a false sense of relaxation and then suddenly shock the audience, because this is something that people talk about and it means that they're more likely to go and watch the film when it comes out. Insidious also follows this convention for the same reason that I did. My typography follows the typography conventions of a horror film and matches that of my poster and website. The font is serif, and this is similar to that of The Conjuring. I decided on this font because it's easy to read and associated with lots of horror films. The same font was used throughout all of my captions and changed slightly for the title because I did some splats and removed parts of the writing to make it look more conventional and less clean and tidy. I kept the colour of all the captions the same red as I used for the poster and website. Moreover, I added a filter to make the captions and the title flicker slightly, which followed the conventions of a horror film too.